If you want to get a bank business loan that pulls personal TransUnion, here are the steps you need to follow. Step number one, you need to know banks that pull TransUnion in the first place. See, the whole thing here is that a lot of people are trying to, they want to get a loan, that business loan that pulls personal TransUnion, but they go to the wrong institution. So it's very important to have a clear idea of some of those institutions that pull TransUnion. So you have US Bank. So US Bank is one of the top financial behemoths in this country that basically pulls TransUnion. It's very important. They have their requirements. Okay. We have Regions. Regions also is another biggie, another regional biggie, quote unquote biggie, that does a lot of pulling from TransUnion. You have Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Now, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, as of the date of this show, they don't have a business installment loan, but they offer some kind of business line of credit. So right now, I mean, Goldman Sachs is a biggie when it comes to investment banking, but when it comes to retail banking and when it comes to small business banking, they're just having a foot in the door right now. But again, they have a great service, so please check them out. You have Huntington Bank. Huntington is another institution that actually pulls TransUnion. You have Fifth Third. So Fifth Third is a great institution that does a lot of pulling from TransUnion, but sometimes they also pull from Experian. But overall, primarily, they pull TransUnion. And then you have Capital One. So Capital One also provides business funding by pulling from personal TransUnion. So the whole thing here is that you have to understand, here are the primary institutions that pull TransUnion. However, I just want to specify that some big national banks, the Chase of the world, the Bank of America, the Wells Fargo, they also pull TransUnion, I will say occasionally, depending on your geography. So there is no requirement that says, you have to pull TransUnion and that's it. You have to pull this CRA, this credit reporting agency, and that's it. No. Banks want to leave themselves some kind of flexibility. They will rather pull TransUnion or Experian or Equifax primarily, but depending on the transaction that you are asking, depending on the funding that you are asking, the bank might actually pull other credit bureaus. So first things first, you need to know banks that pull TransUnion primarily. Step number two, I want you to check your TransUnion credit score. See, the whole thing is you are trying to get a bank business loan that pulls TransUnion. How can you do a great job? By the way, welcome back to the show. We really appreciate it. I'm very happy to have you here. So into this conversation again, we are having a conversation about how to get a bank business loan that pulls TransUnion. So how do you actually check your TransUnion credit score? There are a lot of ways. You can actually go to the classic way is to go to annualcreditreport.com. So once a year, every citizen or every resident of this country has the opportunity to check his or her credit score on TransUnion. So what you do on annualcreditreport.com. So what you do is you want to zero in on your TransUnion credit score and report for that matter. So basically, so when I'm talking about your TransUnion credit score, I'm talking also about your report, right? So you want to check for things that are a little different. So some derogatory items, I'll speak about that later on. But the score itself is important in the sense that there might be some variations. Let's say your FICO score is different from your Vantage score 3.0. Or you can say that your Experian credit score might be different from your TransUnion score or your Equifax score. So the whole thing here is that you want to look for deltas. You want to look for gaps. If there is a big variation between your TransUnion credit score and your score that is featured on the other bureaus, then you have to start thinking, why do we have the dichotomy? Why do we have the contradiction? Why do we have the delta? So this is really important, okay? So you can get a TransUnion FICO score for free at annualcreditreport.com. There are other players. You have Credit Karma. You have NerdWallet, you have Wallet Hub. A lot of players provide this TransUnion credit score for free. You also have a constellation of big banks and credit unions that actually offer this service for free also. So you have access to your TransUnion credit score for free. For example, you have Navy Fed. Navy Fed is a great institution that actually that pulls TransUnion. This is very important. I mean, in today's conversation, we're speaking about a bank business loan. That's why we did not include Navy Fed, but Navy Fed is the biggie when it comes to credit unions, and they pull primarily TransUnion. So to get a free TransUnion credit score, that's how you do it. However, please keep in mind you can always buy a score from TransUnion itself. If you want to dig a little deeper, then that's totally possible. Step number 3, you want to fix derogatory items, if any. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to get a bank business loan that pulls personal TransUnion. So you want to fix derogatory items, if any. Okay. Now you have to understand, derogatory marks, adverse marks, have a big impact on your credit report. Of course, that's just logical. But the thing here is that when we're talking about derogatory items, what are we having a conversation about? We're talking about inaccuracies. So you want to check, when you look at your TransUnion report, I want you to check for inaccuracies. Things that shouldn't be where they are. Things like your address, how long you have been living in a specific location, your name, first name, last name, things like that, things of that nature. Okay, there are things that are really I think automatic in terms of they actually jump on you, and they jump actually when you start looking at the report, you can see them jump at you ASAP. So think about that. So you want to look for inaccuracies in terms of things that you didn't do. In other words, let's say you have been a victim of identity theft, and somebody just playing with your name. Somebody's playing a bad game with your good name and social security number. Okay, and what you want to do here is you want to contact the credit bureau. So in this case, you want to contact TransUnion, because we are only focused in this conversation about TransUnion. We want to actually beef up your TransUnion credit score as much as possible so that you stand a chance to get the best loan possible. See, that's the game plan here. Okay, very important. So you want to submit a dispute to the credit bureau first, and also simultaneously, we always advise our viewers and our business clients to actually file 2 types of dispute letters. So you have a dispute letter that goes to the credit bureau itself, to TransUnion in this case, but you also have a letter that goes to the data furnisher. In other words, the institution that provided the data to TransUnion and the TransUnion in the first place. That way you are sure that the issue will be fixed. Okay, and in some cases, if you recognize that you owe the amount, then you can start negotiating a pay for delete agreement, and you can send a pay for delete offer to your creditor. Okay, or you can also try to make a goodwill request for deletion. I mean, things happen, but you have to negotiate, and we have an entire show that talks about that. Okay, and you just have to wait. Once you follow all the processes, you have to wait. It can take 30 days, 45 days, 60 days for the derogatory items to actually come off your TransUnion credit report. Step number 4, boss, we are still having a conversation about how to get a bank business loan that pulls TransUnion. Okay, you've done all the work, you've done all the legwork. Now you know all the banks that pull TransUnion. You have checked your TransUnion credit score. You have fixed derogatory items. The first thing you need to do, you need to clarify the loan amount you need and why you need it. See, the whole thing is a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business owners they always make a mistake at this specific stage. They know the loan amount, so okay, I want $500,000 or I want $100,000. Okay, the question is, why do you need it? But let me go back to the origins. You want $100,000. Why? Or how did you calculate? How did you arrive to that amount? Is it because you have done something in Excel, or is it because you need cash to buy equipment, to buy a piece of machinery? Do you want to explain? So those are very important. In other words, because the lender is going to ask you, the lender will ask you, how did you arrive at this number? So just want to make sure you're not just putting a number, just not like, I think. No, don't think here. You have to have proof. You have to do some calculations that actually show that, hey, listen, the amount that I want is exactly the amount that I need. Now, we advise clients and we advise viewers also to always ask for a little more to have some leg room, because you never know. Let's say you want to buy equipment for 95,000. Basically, don't apply for funding 95,000. Apply for 105 or 110,000. So you leave yourself a little room of 15 grand just in case something happens. Okay. And when we talk about why you need it, there are a lot of reasons why you can use you can actually get business funding, right? To expand operations. That's what people call the use of loan proceeds. So you're having a conversation about you want a business loan to expand operations, to replace or upgrade equipment, to purchase inventory, to bolster cash flow, or to hire and train new staff. Okay, so if I were to break it down into two categories, you might need cash to actually you might need cash for working capital, so everything short term, or to buy equipment, or to grow, to expand. So those have a long term inclination. Step number 5, boss. This is really important. I want to quickly again remind our viewers of today's topic. For those who just joined us, we're having a conversation about how to get a bank business loan that pulls TransUnion. Step number 5, I want you to go to the bank's branch. And this is so important. We have said this over and over again. If you are sitting there right now and you are thinking about getting a bank business loan that pulls TransUnion, I want you to get off your ass and go to the branch. Okay? Don't let people dazzle you about the importance of applying online. You know, people talk about some hack that you can apply where you apply online for a business loan. Those things never work, and they will never work. You have to understand, when we talk about business loan or business or personal loan for that matter, banks have put in place a series of algorithmic procedures that help them mitigate risk. Okay, so your best chance, and I don't care what your credit score is, I don't care you want to go to a branch, you want to have a conversation with someone, with a human. Okay, don't you get it? People are like, I'm busy, I have a 9-to-5 job, whatever. Hey, you are looking for what? A business loan worth, let's say, $100,000, and you don't have time, you don't have 2 hours, you don't have 1 hour to go to a branch. What's up with that? People are just like, I'm busy. I'm working multiple jobs. You're working multiple jobs, but your ass should be at the branch if you want to have the loan that you are looking for. When you go to the branch, please, I want you to really be on your Sunday. You want to dress appropriately. Be respectful. First impressions always count. Don't you just go to the branch like, dressed informally or whatever. No. I want you to be on your Sunday or on your Saturday or Friday, whatever works for you. Bring your paperwork. Okay, it's always better to have a live talk with a customer rep, with a loan rep. Okay, and at the bank you can mention a lot of things that actually are in your favor. Mention the length of your relationship with the bank. Ask more questions. Okay, you are actually collecting intel about the business loan application process, all the requirements, and while having conversation with the rep, you can discreetly gauge your approval odds. This is why it's really important to go to a branch and not talk to a quote-unquote talk to a computer by applying online or so this is what it is. Go to a branch. Step number 6, you want to study the loan requirements, the business loan that you want to apply for. See, the thing is, when we talk about business loans, we have a constellation of funding arrangements. Okay, you can have a line of credit, you can have an installment loan, you can have equipment financing, you can have merchant cash advances, you can have invoice factoring. So there is a typology that you need to really keep in mind. So don't think that business loans simply means I'm just getting an installment loan. No, you can get something else, but that's why you want to study the loan requirements. So once you actually zero in on a specific business loan, I want you to study the requirements of that funding arrangements. So what are the requirements when it comes to personal and business credit scores? Okay, does the bank want you to have, like, let's say 600 or 550 minimum credit score? What about your business credit score? Do they want a paydex of 75 or 70, of 80 or 85 and whatnot? What are the requirements in terms of annual revenue? So this is important. I mean, do they accept, do they accept a startup? Those are the kind of questions I want you to ask at the branch. You can do research beforehand. You can do your own research, but when you go to a branch, the loan rep at the branch will elucidate those questions for you, will clarify those questions for you. What about years in business? As I was just saying earlier, do they accept startups? Okay, years in business. And what about the business industry and size? What kind of industry are they interested in? Some banks do not fund certain industries. So if you are in a quote unquote a controversial industry, or you are in a sensitive industry, you might not get funding. Okay, so this is really important to actually keep that in mind. And one thing I also want to say here is that when you have a conversation when we talk about the loan requirements, sometimes the bank might ask you to provide a business plan and loan proposal. So those are two different things. We have covered this on another show. So business plan is just it's more qualitative, it's more I would say holistic, and a loan proposal is more quantitative. It's just numbers. Okay, and also this is the time where you want to talk about collateral or personal guarantee. Does the bank want you to pledge an asset, either business assets or personal assets? So this is a constellation of criteria I want you to pay attention to when you study the loan requirements. Very, very, very quintessential. Last but not the least, step number 7. I want you to get your paperwork ready, boss. This is really important. So you've done all the homework, you've done the hard work, you have done research, you have investigated the industry, you have gathered intel. Now it's time to actually hit the home run. Okay, very important. So when we talk about the business and financial documentation that you need to submit, when you go to a branch, they will clarify things for you. They will actually help you identify the checklist you need to you need to comply with when it comes to the business loan. And so we're speaking about things like personal and business income tax returns. Okay, so depending on the kind of business you have, you might have to either submit to the bank Form 1065, 1120S, or 1120. Okay, remember that 1120S and 1065 are informational returns. In other words, you don't pay taxes on those returns, but still the bank wants to know that you are complying with your tax obligations and that you have actually filed business taxes with the IRS also. So they will also want to check, of course, your 1040. It's important. They will want to look at your financial statements. So when we speak about financial statements, a lot of experts tell you when it comes to business loans, they are telling you you just need to provide your balance sheet and income statement. I'm here to tell you today, hey, listen. When we talk about financial statements, there are four primary financial statements. And in addition to the balance sheet and income statement, we have the statement of cash flows and a statement of owner's equity. So those are the 4 primary financial statements. And the more the fuller you are, the more complete you are, the better, because you are giving the bank a chance to have a clear idea about your company. You also might need to think about adding to that paperwork your personal and business bank statements. The bank will want to know have a photo of your driver's license, any kind of commercial licenses you have, business licenses, articles of incorporation or articles of organization. Okay, and in some cases, the bank might want to have a resume that shows relevant management or business experience. Okay, and also they might want to see financial projections if you have a limited operating history. So this, obviously, the list I'm giving here is not exhaustive, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what the bank is asking for to actually qualify you. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was just having a quick convo with you about how to get a bank business loan that pulls personal TransUnion. Step number 1, let's just quickly recap here. Number 1, no banks that pull TransUnion. Number 2, check your TransUnion score. Number 3, fix derogatory items, if any. Number 4, you want to clarify the loan amount that you need and why you need it. Number 5, reasons you might want to take out a business loan. Number 5, you want to go to the bank's branch. Number 6, you want to study the loan requirements. Number 7, you want to get your paperwork ready. Thank you so much. I will see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.